Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Business Growth Luncheon. My name is Ali Ramsey and I'm West's Communications Coordinator. For those who are unfamiliar, Business Growth Luncheon is offered once a month in partnership with the NSBA and EDR. Each month we cover a variety of topics, all tailored to help you in your small business. This series is typically part of an in-person luncheon, but this has been moved virtual for the remainder of 2021. So today our topic is customer service, the next normal, part of our Business Growth Luncheon series. And this is presented by Aimee Schulhauser of Tangerine Group. Thank you so much, Aimee, for joining us today. If you have any questions for her as we go through the presentation, please feel free to submit them through the Q&A box. You can also introduce yourself in the general chat box as well. We would love to hear about you, introduce yourself, that kind of thing. Tell us about your business. And as always, this webinar is being recorded and will be available for on-demand viewing. You'll receive an email tomorrow at this time with a link to the recording. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and pass it over to Aimee.
Well, thank you so much, Ellie. I really appreciate being here and the invitation today. Like Ellie said, are you able to say who you are and say your business and maybe a little bit about your business in the chat there? I'd love to speak to the types of businesses that you are in, and maybe we can have a discussion this way. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna pull up my screen here and we will get down to it. So customer service is something that I have been in for 16 years now, and it is near and dear to my heart because we all know how very important it is, for sure, and just getting it right is what we're all going for right now. With the pandemic, of course, things are a lot different, and I'm going to speak to that as well today. So we'll start with my first slide here. In the last 18 months, you may have experienced your sales going to almost nothing. In some cases, for us, it was 1 month we did $400 in catering sales. Why even bother, right? So plummeting is putting it mildly. Customers being tentative, reserved, and cautious in their spending, not knowing if they are going to have a job themselves, therefore not spending on things that may seem frivolous, like catering or eating out. Events planned, hours put into planning events or functions or even just lunches and then canceled. We don't get paid for those ones, and we in some cases bought all the stuff for it. Supply chains being disrupted. Oh my goodness, there was a time where I could not find capers. I know it's tiny and it's just an ingredient, but it spoke to the larger overall picture of different things not reaching their destination, or entire industries like the meat industry being disrupted by mass outbreaks. So because of that, costs skyrocketing, most famously lumber. No one was building a deck this summer, I'm sure. Fear of the unknown about what is next. And fear is a big factor in all of our customers' psychology and how they may decide to spend their money. There's a lot of nesting going on, maybe putting money into their homes and having those really important things taken care of, or maybe put on hold to see what's happening with their own lives. Increase in technology usage. For me specifically, we noticed an uptick in skip the dishes, Uber Eats, DoorDash, those kinds of things. We don't use them in my companies. They are exorbitantly expensive for the restaurant to use. I see why others use them. It was not for us, but we had to tell people, nope, you can just call us directly. Please don't use those apps, because we don't have them. Deliver and Instacart were used, people having things right at their fingertips. And customers' indecisiveness. And I put on their hand holding. I don't know about you out there, but we had people who would normally just send in an order, do the things that they normally do. They didn't know some things. They were tentative. They They just didn't know how to business, is what we would used to say. People have stopped knowing how to business. And so we put in a lot of extra time and effort in making sure that they got what they were asking for. Okay, so let's talk about one that I have an experience with, and that is WestJet. You may have seen it in the news. You may have had some experience with this yourself in getting refunds for things that have been canceled, or for even just getting through because something changed on your itinerary. And they did that for me as well, changed a flight and didn't have a connection going to my flight, all these things. It was just a mess. So I was on hold for quite some time, not the hours that have been put in social media, but it was very frustrating. And when I got to a person, being in customer service myself, I was very polite and patient and kind. But if you think of it, by the time you get to a customer service rep in a lot of these bigger companies, you've already put in the time and the effort of trying to help yourself. And so when you get there, you're already frustrated, angry, out of patience, out of time, because your time's worth money too. And you typically tend to take out your frustrations on the first person that answers the phone. So that person is already at an disadvantage in that they're trying to help, but they come at you, or they come to you when you're at one of your most frustrated points. Now, I see this as being almost, well, I'll put this mildly or lightly, strategic on the part of WestJet, because it can be, I don't know this for sure, but customer service can be thought of as a cost center rather than a profit center. And if you, bluntly speaking, don't answer the phone, you can't give refunds. And if you can't give refunds, you know, people will just get frustrated and quit, and they have your money. Now, no one wants to do that. WestJet will probably survive. As a small business, we wouldn't if that happened. We would get pulverized in social media, and then we're done. So there are some, if you see these frustrations, sometimes they're built in as something that is just on purpose. So I don't know if they're getting better at it. I haven't flown lately because of my experience last time. I'm thinking driving seems a really good option at this point. Hopefully you haven't had too many problems with the bigger corporations this way. Hello, Betty, I see you. Thanks for your comments here. Yes, the crunch, to put it mildly, right? Okay, so what is customer service? Well, we didn't really see it as a topic, I guess, until things were more industrialized. So in the past, our products and services were the main driver for a business. You wanted product X, you would go buy it. That's it. Today, the overall service and customer experience is often the differentiator. We have so many players in our space that we need something that will differentiate us from the pack. And it's not just good enough to have a good product and good service. You have to go above and beyond with the customer service and a customer experience that starts before they purchase, as they purchase, and then after they purchase. It's a lot more involved, as I'm sure you found. So lots of things have happened in those last 18 months. For me, we have just pivoted so many times that I feel dizzy. How much of what was done out of necessity will be standard practice now? And that's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. When the middle of March happened and things were locked down, we shifted over the, 2 days or so from eat in, business as usual, to takeout and delivery only. And we set up a text line on a specific phone that was just for that. And someone monitored that 24 hours a day. It was a lot, but it kept us connected. It kept us front of mind, and people love texting. They would rather do that than pick up a phone. And I know for myself, I like doing that too. So rather than have the app, we were able to give them out, we called it a hotline, and you can text the hotline and see what we had available and put in your order for delivery. That's through the restaurant itself. Catering, like I said, it was almost nil. And then I'll talk about my school Schoolhaus Culinary Arts, the cooking school, in just a moment too. So that was necessity. We needed to deliver. We needed to go to where people were right now, or at that point, and that was in their homes. And so we'd sometimes have 15 or 16 deliveries a day. That took organizing, and that took just a whole person just doing just deliveries. And so technology and innovation has made incredible strides over these last 18 months. And those aren't going anywhere. Once you get a technology, is it going to, if it works, they're going to keep it literally at our fingertips. We wanted to get in on that, but not have those huge markups that the Skip the Dishes had. So we had the delivery hotline. And what wouldn't be considered before is accepted without question now. We used to say work smarter, not harder. That's one of my favorite expressions. And now it's work smarter and harder. Exhausting, of course. What are some things that we can meet in the middle on and not affect customer service or our mental health or that of our employees? So for example, our minimums for catering were always 10, and we would just turn them down if they were a small order. We were taking things that were 2, 3 people, 6 was a good order, and people picked and chose the things that they wanted, which was not something we would normally accept before. So we would have, say, 6 people, and they all had different orders, and that's it took some like 2 or 3 people to make that order for the day. And because there was nothing else coming in, we accepted it. We are now moving towards the 10, unless they're very good customers, because we develop relationships. But it is something that we have to do to preserve our business model. And we're in a new age of training our customers again. And I say this in little quotations there. We find that educating the customers is an important part of our job. You know, things like, you ordered this, but I think what you really want is this, and therefore you'll have this kind of benefit. So you say the statement, so that, and they understand that you're working for them. And this is how we provide our trusted advisor kind of customer service. So we're training our customers to order for 10, to order in advance. We were getting a lot right last minute, right in the morning. And we're finding that it's coming, but people are still testing us, so to speak, and we have to say, nope, this is how it is. And I'm finding that in a lot of different industries as well, not just food or service related or these kinds of positions, but all over. We didn't know what to do. A lot of times we still don't know what to do, and we're looking for guidance. So as a customer myself and in other places, I appreciate the lead when people are offering it. Okay, so now what? We're trying to get out of it. Yes, we're in 4th wave. Things are not great in terms of where our COVID numbers are now. How do we muddle through and differentiate ourselves from our competitors? Because now is the opportunity to really get a hold of your customer service game and pull above the pack. Arm your customers with the tools on the channels of their choice. Meet them where they are right now and keep it easy. Easy, easy, easy. That's where you're going to make their lives easier. People all around are exhausted. We used to talk about decision-making fatigue, COVID fatigue. All of these fatigues have now manifested into full-on exhaustion, and they just need something where they don't have to make another decision. So help themselves, first of all, on the things that are easy for them. So things like Instagram messaging, Facebook message. We have so many different channels that way. Well, that's not true. We've kept the social media to 2 channels, and then of course calling us or emailing us works as well. So we also accept the hotline, again, the texting orders, email. We have online forms for them, so it's easy there. They don't have to explain what they need, and it's just in little boxes. That has helped. And then we've changed during all this change. For us, we changed to a new accounting platform that sends out everything on email. They're able to pay, and they're getting a receipt right away. It saves on back and forth emails, and again, pain points and taking the time for them and my people's time to reply back and forth. Costs a little bit more, but the payoff and the return on investment is huge. So if you can do little tweaks like that in your technology suites, you're going to find it returned tenfold. Okay, empower your frontline workers to solve more complex problems. So if you are looking at a society where people prefer self-serve, I know I like it myself. I'd rather do that than talk to a person or wait on hold. I'm capable of doing it. I have an app for a lot of things. I'd rather do the simple things myself. However, if things are beyond the app's capabilities or I'm not able to solve them, I need to call. And when I call, I get a representative. So for example, my credit card, I needed to, I don't even know what, I couldn't get online for my account. It shouldn't have been a tougher problem, but it was frustrating for me to have to call and be on hold. And then I got pushed through to 3 different people because I don't know what the issue was, but that was, it was exasperating for sure. So training the people that get those more complex questions takes out you have the mundane that people can do themselves. Do the complex, if you get the complex questions, by the time people call, you need to have people trained and ready for those kinds of things. And we will, all around, you will have less employee turnover because you'll have fewer frustrated people, angry people, taking out that anger and frustration on your employees. And then your customers will have a better experience and be more likely to buy. Customer satisfaction has been steadily declining across many industries for a number of years. When I was doing the research for this presentation, the articles I found were dated all the way back to like 1995. Why is customer service so bad? 2008, why is customer service so bad? 2012, and so on and so on. So this has been a topic of discussion for a number of years, and it almost seems like we're on a treadmill with a carrot in front of us. We're not getting any closer. We're trying the things. So what it comes down to is having your problem solved quickly and in an empathetic manner. Sounds simple, but it's not easy for sure. If it was, we wouldn't be here right now, right? Okay, customers, I alluded to this. Customers want results, not sympathy. No more empty platitudes. Oh my gosh, if I have to hear unprecedented or difficult times or anything, it's done. I am done. We are all done with these platitudes, and let's move past that. Let's make a pledge to just move past that. Empathize, for sure. We are all in this together, for sure. I'm sorry you had that experience. Let's make it right. Boom. Solve the problem and do it quickly, and clear guidance instead of excessive choice. I've been reading some articles on this. 3. Give people 3 options at the most. They'll usually pick the middle one, the medium option, and then they feel like they've had enough, or they've been listened to, and they have enough options to choose from without being overwhelmed by them. When we do our cooking classes, we have over 300 cooking classes to choose from in our school. And when we send out, people say, what classes do you have? We send out 10 at the most because they get overwhelmed by the number of choices that are available to them. If they want more, cool, we'll send out another batch. But we find that just works fine. All right. I get asked this a lot. Google and Facebook reviews, any kind of review, Yelp, all of those things. What do you do about a bad review? Well, this goes hand in hand with all of the customer service. You have to take the good with the bad with the good. And for a while, I would be devastated when I got a negative Facebook review or Google or whatever. We just got one last week for like a 1 star, it was just awful. And the thing with that, after you've you're done swearing under your breath about this person and how dare you, respond, even if they are upset. I put it in bold, italics, and underlined. Respond. Acknowledge the negative comments, acknowledge their issue, and use your responses to build your brand loyalty. Also, acknowledge the positive reviews. That is something that I have problems with too, because it makes me uncomfortable. I hate reviews, period, but they are not going anywhere. And having a strategy for dealing with them is something that every business should have, and just have it ready to go for when you get them. Reply right away if you can. An hour, if possible, 5 minutes is even better. Tweets, all of these things, you will get a lot more business if you respond within a timely manner. Now, if you do need to do some research on maybe something specific, of course, but let them know that you're looking into it. People respond very favorably to when they have been heard. And I even put that as my next point. People want to be heard, period. There's a lot of pent up frustration, excitement. People haven't had fun in a while. They might be a bit grouchy, and little things can trigger at this point. And so we've had some things where we go, what the heck, that's odd. For the most part, we get positive reviews, but every now and then we'll get one that just is, okay, you know what, someone might have had a bad day and it doesn't seem fair. And a lot of times it isn't, but acknowledge them. And people will read those. The people that are your good customers will know that is a one-off, and you handled it in a professional manner. That is very important. And then what you can also do, if you don't want them to use social media as their main way of connecting with you in a negative way, is give them an alternative. We have set up a Survey Monkey on our website for the school. If they have comments or issues or just want to give feedback, they can do it anonymously, and they will be heard. They can choose to leave their contact info if they want to chat about some things, but sometimes it's just they want to tell you what they want to tell you, and it's good to have a channel where it's just between you and the customer. So Survey Monkey works well. Put your website on there if you want, but we found that those free survey options are great, and they may have saved us some negative social media or feedback that way. It's unfortunate how many different channels we have to monitor at this time, and to have maybe our bad days broadcast on something like this forever, but it is now part of our business journey, and we need to have we have some resources that we can use. Okay, and then be authentic. People will know if you are BSing them. We know that as humans. Kids know that the most. If you're going to be friendly or friends with them, do it in an authentic way and be a real friend and human in your interactions. No one wants to interact with a robot or someone who sounds like a robot. Vulnerability goes a long way. Acknowledge the issue and say, yep, you're right. This happened. It sounds as if you're frustrated, and how can we make it right? And then humor. Have the vulnerability and the tone of putting in a make it light. Make it you don't have to joke about things, but make it light. People really appreciate humor, and especially in these times. These unprecedented times, of course, a little levity goes a long way. So having those kinds of interactions, I find makes it a better experience all around. We become the go-to people. I've used the term trusted advisor before, where they have an issue that they want solved or help with, and you become the person that they call. This is what I'm striving for in my businesses, for sure. And it's something that I think will make your business stand out from the rest in your field. So that was my all part of that was my presentation. I would love some interaction and some Q&As here. Let's talk about maybe some issues you might be having, or some things that have worked or not worked during this time. Do we have anything in the Q&A or the chat?
Don't have any questions right now, but if anyone wants to hop into the Q&A box or the chat box, Aimee will answer your questions.
I see Donna Ray is here. Do you have any questions with your cafe? Do you have these re-education issues? Your customers suddenly don't know what to do?
Leave it open for questions for a couple more minutes here, but I'm sure if anyone has any. Oh, here we've got a question here.
Yes, I get asked this a lot because it sounds really slick, and it is. It's QBO, or QuickBooks Online, and in this way, it comes with an add-on where you can take pictures of your receipts and send them to your accounting system. Oh, hi, you're here but not here. You can send them into your accounting system, and then you can do the invoicing that way as well, and have a button where they just click to pay. And it is a higher percentage of fees, but for having to not follow up with people and say, hey, can you pay? And they pay with a credit card anyway. The time it saves is just incredible. And you can have it set up to automatically send a reminder notice without you going in and resending it on X number of days. So highly recommend that one. It's changed the way we do business in a good way.
Perfect. Well, I'm sure if anyone has any more questions that they think of after this, I'm sure they can reach out to you, Aimee. And
for sure.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Aimee, for your presentation today. It was very helpful, especially in these times. So we do have our next webinar, which is coming up next Wednesday. It's Pivot to Whole Health, the key to avoiding entrepreneurial burnout, which is very real. So if you want to find details on that, head on over to west.ca. And thank you again, Aimee.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.